Hi. I hope you had fun last night watching the debate. I hope some of you watched it with me and followed my tweeting and my comments on my website. I think that the clear, undisputed winner of this debate was Newt Gingrich. It was so clear that this guy is head and shoulders above everybody else when it comes to foreign policy and national security. When he ticked off the conditions under which he would stay in Afghanistan, that was such a brilliant answer. In those respecting sanctuaries, cross the borders in hot pursuit, stop telling us who to bomb and what to do, and if you want us to be in your country, you got to let us go ahead and win. Absolutely a brilliant, brilliant answer. I thought that he was the only person there who, when they talked about Pakistan, said he was outraged that they were sheltering Osama bin Laden. Everybody else was talking about, oh, it's a nuclear country and you got to be so careful. Well, yeah, that's true, but let's start with the fact that these SOBs have taken $20 billion of our foreign aid since 9/11 and were sheltering a man who killed 3,000 of us and knew damn well he was there all along. Okay? Gingrich showed some anger about that, and it's about time we had somebody that did that. I thought he was just terrific. Now, he made a big mistake. His proposal for amnesty for people who've been here a long time and have roots in the community and so on really opens a door there. And Bachmann, right after the debate, put out a press release attacking it. Because basically, Bachmann, Kaine, Gingrich, and Perry are competing for the Tea Party evangelical vote. They won't go to Romney because he's a Mormon and because of Romney Care. So she really now has Perry and Newt to the left of her on immigration, which is a pretty good place for her to be, and very astute of her to jump in on that. Romney, on the other hand, now also has Gingrich and Perry to the left of him on that issue. That's very significant. And, you know, throughout the debate, Eileen was pointing out, she's a lawyer, that, you know, what are you going to do? Say, this person can stay because they go to church, but this person can't because they don't? Or this person can stay because, you know, he works in a certain occupation and this other person can't? That's a violation of the 14th Amendment waiting to happen. So, a very, very interesting opening, and I think Newt made a mistake. He outthought himself on that. Now, my choice for coming in second in this debate was Bachmann. I thought that she showed a depth and a knowledge of this stuff that was really impressive. I was a little unimpressed with her Pakistan answer because it showed she's kind of been co-opted by the Intelligence Committee folks she's been working with because she was far too timid on that. But I felt that she really displayed a knowledge and understanding and a depth on foreign policy that I thought was terrific. Romney was his usual dependable self. He gave very good answers. He shot back each time. His point about letting people stay here if they've been here for a long time was a magnet, and we have to get rid of all the magnets. His opposition to the defense cuts was strong. And he did something else that's really interesting. You have evangelical candidates in this race. You have Perry, you have Bachmann, you have Kaine, Santorum. You have economic conservatives in this race. You have Romney, and you have Gingrich, and you have a bunch of others. You even have isolationists and nuts in the race, like Ron Paul. But you don't have a national security candidate. You don't have a John McCain in this race. And about 10% of the Republican electorate is national security focused. Romney became their candidate tonight. He was the one that stood up and said, no, we're not going to pull out of Afghanistan. We're going to listen to what the generals have to say. We're going to continue the investment we've made there. No, we're not going to cut the defense budget in harmful ways. He was really a hawk. That's in sharp contrast to the first debate, when he seemed to be open to second-guessing the generals about getting out of Afghanistan early. And that was a very important strategic move for Romney to make. So I'd put him coming in third. I thought coming in fourth was Santorum. I think he was competent and good and very excellent on this. And then fifth, I would put Rick Perry. I think that Perry gave a few good answers, but the contrast between his rote sound bites and Romney's intelligence and understanding and depth on these issues is so obvious. Perry is a good soundbite guy, and he's read some position papers, but it clearly doesn't have the depth on it. And his immigration answer totally belied his previous position, which is opposition to the border fence. The loser in this debate, and it pains me to say it because I adore him, was Herman Cain. When you talk about economic issues, he just absolutely hits the ball out of the park. As a businessman, he understands the virtues of sharp reductions in the income tax and his famous 999 proposal. But on foreign policy, he obviously is just out of his depth. When he said that he was going to fight Syria by stopping the purchase of their oil, there were two problems. One is we don't buy any, and secondly, they don't make any. Syria's oil production is about 300,000 barrels a day. That's less than Argentina. I mean, it's a tiny, tiny, microscopic oil production. It probably ranks about 50th in the world in oil production. Anyone who really knew the Middle East would know that. So I'm very concerned about Cain on this. I think he could really have hurt himself in this debate. And, of course, the losers were Huntsman, who was in the wrong primary. When he touts his record of appeasing China and of letting China get away with everything, and he says, based on that, we ought to elect him president, it's ridiculous. And Ron Paul is absolutely beyond the pale. He would have opposed our entering World War I. World War II, he would have said, oh, reason with Hitler. You know, don't take any action against Hitler that we wouldn't want Hitler to take against us. The other thing that I was going crazy about in this debate is CNN deliberately undermined Romney and deliberately hyped Ron Paul and Huntsman. Their goal in this debate, and was insidious, was to give Paul as much face time as possible so he gets as much votes as possible, and so the Republican Party nominates a nut who can't possibly win, and to sidetrack the candidate who's the clear frontrunner, Romney, and give him as little exposure as possible. There was one period of about half an hour where Romney couldn't get a word in edgewise, and when Romney finally spoke, they put on a split screen with Ron Paul and Mitt Romney. Somebody ought to call CNN on that, and I just did. Now, Dubs, my dog, was unimpressed with this debate. He sat curled up at my feet during the debate, and really had no comments about it, and certainly nothing interesting to say. That's because when he went to Washington, in our children's book, Dubs Goes to Washington, he expressed himself rather thoroughly about his views about patriotism in the United States, and you should read the book. How did you like that for working in a plug? You take care. Now, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, of course, and Friday as well. I'm going to have a video up those 2 days that casts an entirely new perspective on the Pilgrims' immigration. And it explains how when the one group went to Jamestown and the other group went to Massachusetts, it laid the basis for the American Civil War and some of the divisions that persist in this country. So tune in tomorrow and Friday. You'll really enjoy it. And Saturday we'll do another history video in the series I'm doing about the impact of breaking the German code. And we talk